breakpoints give you the capability in Fiddler to stop a request before it's actually sent to the server, or stop a response before it's actually sent down to the browser, so you can make modifications. There's multiple ways that you can set it, but you can interrupt for either requests or responses based on the URI, the status, what method would you use to get or a post. You can set up automatic breakpoints for every request or response. It's your opportunity to modify that request or response before it gets to where it's actually going to go. We haven't talked about the quick exec bar yet. We'll get into that in more detail later, but there are quick exec commands to set up for breakpoints. There are multiple ways to set breakpoints for either requests or responses. The first, if you go to the third box in the status bar and you click once, there's an icon that indicates now I've got automatic breakpoints set up before requests are sent to the web server. So now every request that goes up will be caught by Fiddler, but before it's passed to the actual web server, it's going to break, so I can make changes to it. I can also click one more time and it's going to break on responses, or I can clear that again. I can also do the same thing by going to automatic breakpoints, and I can turn on before requests or after responses. And again, you can see that they have a checkbox to ignore images because those happen so often on a given request. So let's set up a breakpoint after all of the responses. Now if we go back into our browser and we'll go back to our page, you'll see Fiddler will indicate to me that it is in a breakpoint state. So you see that it's in a breakpoint after the response. So if I click, what it does is it shows me the actual response below so that I can make a modification to it if I would like. If not, I can say run to completion, which just means go ahead and send that down to the client browser. Now if we look at each of these other ones, if I go, I can individually say I want to run that to completion. I want to run the style sheets. Let's say I want to see what would happen if jQuery did not return correctly. If you see this drop down, I can return particular files. So there happens to be a 404 here. If I say a 404 occurred, and I'll run that to completion, and then I'll just run these other two to completion as well. So now we can go back to the browser and see what would happen. In this case, because the jQuery library was not downloaded correctly, you can see that the jQuery did not work to set up my slideshow. So it's just a very quick way to set breakpoints in general so I can make modifications to requests as they're being sent up or as they're being brought back.